I've waited over 20 years for this moment. Guys, I just made my most expensive Pokemon card purchase to date. It's a card that I've always wanted, and as a kid, of course, I didn't have the resources to be able to buy something like this. And frankly, even as an adult, it can be hard to justify spending so much on just a little piece of cardboard. But ever since I got back into the hobby just less than a year ago, I've been patiently awaiting the day where I would be able to afford this card. You want to know what it is? Well, stay tuned. And if there's a card that you've had your eye on, but the price tag has been the biggest obstacle for you, I'm going to share 7 tips to help you afford your Grail card. And while we do, I thought we would open up some Pokemon cards. We actually have 2 products today. We're going to open up the Celebrations Collector's Chest, as well as the Brilliant Stars Build and Battle Box. So guys, let's open this stuff up and I'll share the card that I purchased. Now, if it's your first time here, my name is Luke, and after 20 years, I got back into collecting Pokemon cards to chase that feeling of nostalgia from my childhood. So I invite you to come along the journey with me by hitting that subscribe button below. Alright guys, but time to reveal the card that I purchased. I'm just going to take it out very carefully out of the sleeve. This might be one of the last times I take it out of the sleeve, at least for a long time. Got our Clear Classic Dragon Shield on there, and I'm gonna pull it out of our perfect fit here. Here we go. Time to reveal the card. We have base set Charizard. Finally. I can't believe I finally own this card. And guys, I was looking for a while, trying to find a really good copy of this, and I feel like I did. Looking for a near mint copy, and I looked at several from people locally, and there were quite a few good candidates, but none of them quite checked all the boxes that I wanted. And of course, even this one is not perfect, but I would say it's perfect in all the ways that really matter to me. First of all, look at that hollow foil. Like, it's just so clear. Like, for a card this old, like I just feel like so many of the WotC cards just kind of have like a foggy look to them, and I think it's probably as a result of people putting their fingerprints on them. But this one just looks so good. Now, if you look really closely, like you have to look really closely, like there are some, I would say, scuff marks. It's not really even scratching as much as it's probably just a result of people taking it in and out of a sleeve. And there's probably some dust stuck in there, but it is what it is. It's really not that noticeable unless you look really close for it. The only other imperfections, honestly, is there is some silvering around it, which is not ideal, but it was one of those flaws that I could live with. Again, you just have to keep in mind how old this card is. And so it's not a cheap card. It's about $350. But I ended up getting it for $260, so I feel like I got a decent deal on it. And so there's really like hardly any whitening. Like, you can barely see anything. Like, on the camera you might not even be able to notice any of it. But yeah, I am super excited about this, super happy to finally add this to my collection. So again, we're going to very gently just stick this back into the sleeves and in the top loader. Double sleeved. And we are going to stick him up here with some other Charizards, which probably gave you a little bit of a hint. Maybe you noticed that early on. All right, guys, but now let's go ahead and open up some other products here and share some tips for how you can possibly afford some more expensive Pokemon cards. Now, first of all, I got these products from a seller on Whatnot. It is pretty cool that Whatnot, you can buy some sealed product on there. And so Whatnot is an app featuring live streamed auctions where you can bid on Pokemon cards and often get some pretty great deals. So make sure you use my link in the description below to get a $10 credit towards your first purchase on there. And got these really cool promo cards in here, which we'll just kind of set aside for now. Code card for you. But here's what we came here for. Now, the first tip is that you do need to, save up. Saving is my first tip here, and which of course may sound very obvious, but saving is really not an easy thing to do in this hobby. And that's because, there's just so many cool things to buy at pretty much every moment. So what I really recommend you do, and the way I recommend you approach saving, is to basically set aside a certain amount every month. So, whenever you get paid, and whatever that amount is, set aside a certain amount from what you get paid, so that you have some left over for other stuff that you want to buy. Got Palkia and Zacian. So let's say that maybe you have a budget every month for $100 for your Pokemon cards each month. Instead of the traditional expectation of just save that whole $100 every month, you want to have a little bit left over to maybe buy some products to open, some packs to open. Maybe you have some singles you want to buy. So just set aside maybe a certain portion of that. Maybe it's $25. That still gives you $75 that will allow you to continue enjoying the hobby in the ways you like for the rest of that month. What I also recommend is, put it somewhere where you can't really easily access it, whether it be a savings account or some account where you don't regularly use. Maybe you use a Venusaur. Maybe you just set aside cash. You get out cash, and that is kind of a way to, set it aside so you're not able to easily access it. Guys, you'll be surprised if you set aside that amount every month. You'll be surprised at how quickly you can save up for it. Even if it's just $25 over 4 months, that's a $100 card. Setting aside $50 is a $200 card in 4 months. So yeah, don't underestimate the power of saving. But also, I recognize that depending on the card that you're trying to get, often saving might not be enough, or it may just take way too long to get what you're looking for. So don't worry, we have some other practical suggestions I'm going to share today after we find out what we hit in this pack, which was nothing. So the second tip that I'm going to suggest is to sell your bulk. So oftentimes when you're opening up packs for a while, especially if you're opening up booster boxes, you end up with a bunch of bulk Pokemon cards, and you can actually sell these for cash. And there's several stores out there that will do it. Usually, often local shops will do it. But the site that I went with, the website I went with, is the Safari Zone, which you can check out. And I felt like they paid a pretty fair rate. And let's see, we got Rocket's admin and Mew. So what I did, I basically, counted up all my cards, and I separated by commons, uncommons, rares, hollows, and energies. And they pay different amounts for each of those types, so that's why you want to separate them. I went ahead and shipped it off to them. And of course, you do have to calculate into the cost of shipping, so make sure it's worth it for the amount that you're sending. But guys, they paid me $140 for my bulk when I sent them. And of course, it was about $20 to ship it, but that means I profited about $120 from that little transaction there. So selling your bulk is really a good idea, in a way you can kind of get some quick cash with what you already have. And kind of along the same lines, I would also recommend looking at ways to maybe sell lots. So I've done this recently, especially on Facebook Marketplace. You could potentially do it on eBay, but I think eBay definitely takes a huge cut of things. So what I've done more recently, again, which also contributed towards helping me purchase Charizard here, I sold a lot of, all my V and VMAX cards, I think, or maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. So there were about 45, I believe, in a lot. And I ended up selling them for $75. So I actually, believe it or not, I kind of entered every single one into the TCG Player app to see what they were all worth, and kind of came to a fair price based on that. And I also recently did a vintage lot and somebody paid me $100 for that. So that was pretty good. But I'll say what wasn't pretty good was this opening. I mean, it was okay. We got Venusaur and Rocket's admin, so got that from the Classic Collection. But yeah, that was kind of a little bit underwhelming, I'll be honest, for this collector's tin, or these collector's chest, I mean. But fortunately, we have something else to open up, so let's keep it rolling. Another product we got from Whatnot, from Brilliant Stars. So I will say, guys, another thing that I did, and another thing that you can do, you know, if you have a birthday coming up, or if you're seeing this closer to Christmas time, you know, what you can do is plan to forego all the typical small gifts and ask people to just give you cash and say that, you know, just let them know you're saving up for a Pokemon card, and that's really what you want. And you can let them know that they'll be contributing towards something that you actually want. And some of you may remember that I actually had a birthday recently, and so I was able to convince my wife to contribute a certain amount of money towards Charizard over here. Now, it definitely wasn't the full amount. I mean, come on, guys, we're not that rich over here. But anyway, this is the first time I'm opening one of these build and battle boxes, and I feel like I'm not really doing it the right way or something, because it's not coming out that easily. Wow, just demolished this little box here. Looks like they give you a little deck here that you can start playing. It's you know, not the promo card I was hoping for, but definitely cool to have a little stamp on there. But we'll open up our packs. So nice, there are 4 packs in here. I thought there were going to be 3, so that's actually a pretty good value. All right, so yeah, guys, it requires you being patient, possibly to wait around for your birthday or for Christmas to come around. But that's you know, an easy way that you can get a nice lump sum from people, and they can gift you that card. And so yeah, guys, Charizard here was my birthday present this year, and some of you may remember that we actually did a video where we're going to be giving away a Brilliant Stars pack for anyone who could guess what my birthday present was, or at least part of it, a portion of it was my birthday present. And so the winner of our Brilliant Stars pack is actually, and I hope I can pronounce this right, is it Jin925? Let me know if I'm pronouncing it right or not. But by the way, you do have to be located in the US, but if you are, you actually won a Brilliant Stars pack for guessing base set Charizard as my birthday gift. And we do actually have a runner-up prize as well, a pack of holos that I put together, and that goes to John Currington. And actually, technically, you know, John, you were the first person to guess base set Charizard, but you said graded. And so since you mentioned that it was a graded card, technically you were incorrect, but because you were close, I still want to give you the second place prize there. So congratulations to both of you. But yeah, guys, let's get back into our opening. Let's open up some Brilliant Stars. Hopefully we can pull some cool stuff from here, character rares, maybe even add a Charizard to our little display up here. All right, here we go. Code card. And so anyway, continuing with our tips here. So obviously you can request it as a birthday present or something like that. But another thing that you want to do is try and negotiate the price a little bit with the person that you want to purchase the card from. Just realize that, especially in this hobby, prices are always negotiable, and depending on how desperate they are for the cash or to get rid of some of their cards, they may be willing to budge on their initial price. And that actually was the case with the Charizard that I purchased. I think the guy was hoping to get more like $300, but I was able to talk him down to $260. So yeah, felt really great about that. And ending off on Kingler V. And then number 6, another way that you can kind of negotiate as well and kind of knock off some dollars from the purchase is by offering a trade. You know, a lot of people who are selling these cards, they're collectors themselves, and so it's possible that maybe you have a card that they actually want, and where if it's a really expensive card that you're trying to purchase, you may not be able to cover the entire cost of the purchase from it, but you might be able to use it as a way to knock off a few bucks and make it a little bit more affordable for yourself. Starting off on the Psychic Energy. And then number 7, what I would say is you also need to just be patient. I already mentioned that in another point, but you want to wait for the right deal to come along. You know, check eBay every day. Like if you have the funds ready, you have a price in your mind that you want to pay for it, just look at eBay every day, look at Facebook Marketplace every day until you can find a really good deal on the card, because those deals are out there. You just have to be the one who's ready to snipe it and look out for it. Again, another place that you can find deals on Pokemon cards that I mentioned before is Whatnot. I get deals on Pokemon cards all the time, and I will say honestly, oftentimes it's the more expensive cards that you can get good deals on, because not everybody on there is prepared to dish out a few $100s on one card. So you never know if you're just there at the right time for the right auction, because again, these auctions are usually a minute or less. Then you might be able to snipe it and get a really great deal on a really expensive card. Spiritomb, Purloin, Bidoof Reverse, and a Hollow Dusknoir. Yeah, guys, so those are my 7 tips. Those are my 7 official tips, but I will actually give you one additional one that may apply to some of you. And I will say it because it's something that I've applied. And, early on, when I got back into this hobby, like literally I started this channel the same time that I got back into the hobby. So literally everything that I've opened on this channel is everything that I've opened, period. And yeah, guys, part of the thought behind that is, I thought, maybe if the channel were to grow by chance, then maybe I could get monetized and get some additional funds to go towards Pokemon cards. Literally everything that I make from ad revenue, which is a little bit, it's about $100 to sometimes $200 a month. I just kind of put back into the channel to buy more products, do giveaways and that sort of thing. But again, that is another way that I have been able to afford a Pokemon card like Charizard over here. But anyway, we have our last card here of our opening. Let's find out if we have anything. Nope, we got Manaphy, but that's actually a pretty playable card in the TCG, so we might be able to make some off of that. Well, guys, here are our hits from our opening. Not the greatest of all times, unfortunately, except for Venusaur, which is always a great one. But I think this is the 5th time I've pulled Venusaur, which is pretty crazy. But in the end, I just wanted to be able to show off my new prize here. I'm just over the moon that I finally own this card. Well, guys, I really hope you found this helpful. For more tips for collecting Pokemon cards, I think you'll like this video on screen. And if you like Pokemon card openings, you may want to check out this video here. Lastly, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. And I want to remind you that no matter what you're going through, you are not alone. God is with you and He loves you, and we do too. I'll catch you next time.